Hi, in this video we'll be getting Doubler 2 set up with Ableton Live. So once you've registered and downloaded the Doubler app, want to click Create New Profile and also follow the steps in the app to calibrate our mic. But once we've got a profile set up and a calibrated mic, we can go into Ableton. So let's open Ableton's Preferences and head to the Link MIDI tab on the left. In the MIDI ports section, make sure that Track and Remote are both set to On for Doubler 2. And this will enable you to MIDI map the control dials later on. So next, let's head over to the Audio tab where we can set our audio output device and our buffer size. So it's really important here that we have our buffer size set to 1 to 8 samples or below in order to reduce any latency. If you're on Windows, the inbuilt audio drivers won't be able to handle low latency. So if you don't have an audio interface that comes with its own driver, you'll need to use ASIO for All in order to get low latency and set the buffer size to 1 to 8 samples. You can check out a full walkthrough on how to set up ASIO for All on Windows over on our Learn Doubler page, and there'll also be a link in the description of this video. So now all our settings are sorted, we can close the preferences and we can set up Doubler properly with Ableton to start making music. So if I want to control drums or samples in Ableton, I'll first want to set up a few triggers. So you can check out our other video on how to train triggers for a more in-depth guide, but I'm just going to quickly add a few now. So I'm going to hit the plus button here and add these triggers. So now we've got a few triggers trained in Ableton. I can drag a drum rack from the left-hand side here onto one of these MIDI channels. And then from the MIDI from drop-down menu, I can select Doubler 2. And below that, I can select which MIDI channel I want to receive information from. So by default, channel 1 receives information from the pitch side of Doubler, and channel 10 receives information from the trigger side of Doubler. So as I'm controlling drums with the triggers that we set up, I'm going to choose MIDI channel 10. Then at the bottom, I want to make sure that the track is armed, and I can now use those triggers to lay down beats. So if I want to control a pitched instrument, I can simply drag a synth or plugin onto another MIDI channel. So if I go to Instruments here, I'm going to drag these basic plug keys here. And again, from the MIDI from drop-down, you select Doubler 2, and below that, as we're receiving information from the pitch side of Doubler, this time I'm going to select MIDI channel 1. So back in Doubler, I can see that the pitch is on, I'm in a key lock, I can make sure the track is armed, and now I can sing or hum those melodies in. We can also turn on chords at any point and record this into Ableton the same way as pitch. So back in Doubler, I can turn on chords here, and again on the same track that we have armed, I can play in chords. If we want to change the MIDI channel that the chords, pitch, or triggers are being sent to, we can do that in the Assign tab in Doubler. So let's go to Doubler, head over to Assign, and at the top here, they're the MIDI output channels for trigger, pitch, and chords, which can be changed with the up and down arrow. So in the Assign tab, we can also see on the right-hand side our CC dials and output. So in Doubler, each of these 4 control dials can be mapped to any MIDI mappable parameter within Ableton, and each of them also have a CC number allocated to them, which can be changed if you want with the up and down arrow. So to get started in Ableton, let's turn on MIDI map mode via the MIDI button in the top right and select a parameter we want to control. So we'll choose the filter cutoff on that synth we set up earlier. So once we've clicked that once, back in Doubler, we can hit map next to the relevant vowel that we want to use to control it. So I'll choose the R vowel. So we can see now in Ableton that our filter cutoff is mapped to CC20, which is our R vowel, and we can exit MIDI map mode. If you want to go more in depth with the MIDI Assign tab and MIDI mapping, you can check out our other videos on our Learn Doubler page. But for now, as you'll hear, if I move from an E to an R vowel, that filter cutoff changes. So that's how to get started with using Doubler in Ableton Live. If you want to find out more about other parts of Doubler, make sure to check out our Learn Doubler page on our website.